Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi, flying solo. Want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Two Cool T-shirt Quilts. You can go to twocooltshirtquilts.com /Pretty Lies and Alibis. Check them out. They'll know we sent you. All right, we're going to get right into it. So today, the suspect in the murder of Lily Peters was in court virtually, wasn't there in person. So we learned a few things. Trigger warning, disturbing stuff ahead. We're just going to put out there what was learned in court today, but it is uh, sad stuff and just kind of unbelievable. So we learned that he is 14 years old and he is an eighth grader. They referred to him by his initials, and he is believed to be the son of Lily's aunt, the one that she went to visit the other day. The charges that they have against him right now are first degree intentional homicide, first degree sexual assault, and first degree sexual assault of a child under 13 with great bodily harm. 14. And seems to be her cousin. So when they were talking about bond, the state requested $1 million due to disturbing statements he made to law enforcement saying that this kid is a threat to the community. And he told law enforcement that his intention was to rape and kill her when he left the house with her. The defense asked for $100,000 cash bond, but the judge ultimately made it the $1 million. So this is where it gets a little. We learned kind of a summary of what happened to her. He punched her in the stomach, knocked her down, strangled her, hit her with a stick, and strangled her to death, and then sexually assaulted her. They conducted a forensic autopsy, and preliminary results could be available as soon as tomorrow, but the final report, it's going to take about 6 weeks to get that in. So here's what's interesting, and it goes to show you, like we learned in the Gabby Petito case, sometimes internet sleuths can give that one tip that leads authorities to an arrest or, in Gabby's case, it was her body. But an internet sleuth by the name of Angela Osment, she may have been the one that called in the tip that led to this arrest. And it all started from an anonymous post on Reddit, and the post said, "What's scary is I was playing Pokemon Go in the park that day, walking along that very same trail. My stomach turns when I think that I saw that girl in a pink and purple hoodie on her bike with another kid on my way out. I have a suspicion that it could be another kid that did it." So the girl, Angela said, "When I saw the post and saw the original poster wasn't responding, I just thought it was something that should be called into police." And she goes on to say, "This person places themselves at the scene and could possibly have been the last person to see Lily alive. Or, and we know this isn't the case now, he could possibly be the one that did something to her." She called in the tip and within 20 minutes got a call back from like a unknown blocked number. And they thanked her for the tip and said they were following up on it. And she said that other herself and other Reddit users just had so many questions. And a lot of people were again responding to this anonymous poster, wanting to know if they had called the tip in, but there was no response. Now, I will say I'm on Reddit and I don't get any kind of an alert unless I log in. You might be able to set it, but I think by default, you have to go in and set it to alert you when there are responses to what you post. So it seems like maybe this person just logged off and we hear about him in just a second. But Angela said, "We wanted to know who was the person you saw her with? What was he wearing? How tall? How old?" But this poster wasn't answering. So there were several people, some legal professionals said that with them saying that there was a danger to the community and to be vigilant, uh, a lot of people suspect that they did not have a suspect when that call was made by Angela reporting that tip. Now, what's interesting is within 7 hours, there was an arrest with that tip being called in. Just before yesterday on our episode, we talked about how right before that press conference, there was the activity at the home of the aunt where she was last seen. So it kind of makes sense. So a reporter did catch up with the young man who posted on Reddit that he had seen them, and he's actually a local high school student, and he explained that coworkers had got him hooked on this Pokemon Go game, and he did see two kids going into that wooded area. I'm sure he's spoken with police by now, but it goes to show you the internet can be full of rumor and speculation, and it drives that stuff sometimes. But every now and then you get somebody who's really vigilant and realizes something that could be really credible, calls law enforcement, and then they help solve that case or at least get a suspect into custody. So a lot of people were asking, what do you think? Will they try him as an adult or a juvenile? So I looked up the laws in Wisconsin, and what it says, any juvenile offender who is at least 14 years old when the crime was committed can be tried as an adult instead of as a juvenile, as long as the juvenile court allows it. The district attorney would need to ask the juvenile court to approve the change. And then it just said that they would ultimately make a decision based on what's best for the juvenile and also the community. Clearly, this kid is a huge danger to the community, which is why the judge set the bond at $1 million. And man, it's just one of those things. This case is really uh, bothered me to my core. Lily was the same age as my youngest daughter is, and it's just not a safe world. And then you find out it's another kid that did this. We're all, at first I was thinking this is going to be some boogeyman in a car that grabbed her, and you find out it's family. Just an insane story. He's due back in court the first week in May, I believe, but they waived reading the charges. I believe they waived the preliminary hearing. So we'll see what happens with that. So the last thing, this is a kind of a short episode. The last thing is last night, Mandy Matney from Fitz News tweeted out that sources have told her that the shirt Alex Murdaugh wore the night Paul and Maggie were murdered was sent to different labs outside of the state, and they found large amounts of high velocity blood spatter on it. I'm going to tell you guys, I watch Forensic Files. You know that. I've seen every episode, and I've seen several on high velocity blood spatter. And essentially, what does this mean? Well, it puts him at the scene at the time of the murders. Although his attorney has said that Alec had an ironclad alibi for the night of the murder. I don't think so, buddy. I'm not super surprised, but then you're always kind of surprised when you hear this stuff. I would have thought maybe he had somebody do it, but it seems like he was there. So Maggie was allegedly shot in the back and then in the back of the head with a high powered rifle. Paul was shot in the head and then in the chest with a shotgun. And Fitz News, they've been on top of this case. They have the best information. They reported that at least one of the guns belonged to the Murdaugh family. So if that's all true, and I haven't seen anything about this case come from them that didn't end up being true. He's going to have a tough time wiggling out of that, because what happens is it takes a really powerful force. So if somebody is shot with a high powered rifle and you are the shooter or you are right there, you can get blood on your shirt. But then he said he had blood on the shirt because he said he touched the bodies before EMS came. I think he actually said that on the 911 call. High velocity blood spatter. What that is it's really teeny, teeny, tiny droplets of blood that is a result of the impact of the bullet to a body, and it sprays back on you. And so they take a microscope and they look and they find these little tiny, you can't even see it with your eye, but it's embedded in the fabric of what you were wearing. And that's different than I touched the body and got blood on me. It means that he was there when at least one of them, if he didn't do it, he was right there. If this is true, allegedly. Um, that's a big deal. That was a really big scoop she got. So, yeah, just wanted to bring that to you guys. We'll keep on it. Maybe they're getting close. You kind of wonder if somebody in law enforcement's not leaking these little tidbits out to get it out there. And maybe we'll have some charges for their murder soon. It's been, what, almost a year now, and we've heard nothing. Although the next morning, there's no danger to the community, which we've always said is very telling. So, anyways, all right, guys, I'm heading to Vegas in the morning. I'm hoping to have Wi-Fi. So I might keep Twitter going and Facebook going with some stories, keep up on things, probably just fall asleep. But anyway, so the next time I'm with you guys here, hopefully will be a live stream, and we'll try to bring some of it to you for those of you who can't go, and hopefully have a good time. Got plans to meet up with lots of people and lots of people we know in the podcast world and that kind of thing, and then some listeners. So I'm really excited. Hope you guys have a great evening, and we will see you from Vegas.